Welcome to another edition of news updates on our channel, Television Media TV. Today we are seeing following up activities of the National Population Commission, and we're happy to tell you that only last week, as part of President Muhammadu Buhari's scorecard series, the Federal Ministry of Information launched the Publicity Committee for the coming census and also had a briefing from the chairman of the commission, Honorable Nasser Issa Kwarra, on what the commission have been doing from 2015 to 2023. In his address at the ceremony, the Honorable Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, said that our population remains the most important equation in our national development. The people are both the agents and beneficiaries of the development process. Hence, development must start and end with meeting the aspirations of the people for improved living standards. According to him, the Buhari administration has invested heavily in human capital development, social infrastructure, agricultural development, etc., all part of building Nigeria's economic base. The conduct of the 2023 Population and Housing Census, therefore, is to complement the giant strides of government by laying a sustainable basis for a planned and prosperous Nigeria. Chairman of the National Population Commission, Honorable Nasser Issa Kwarra, used the opportunity of the press briefing to reassure his fellow countrymen and women and the international community that the National Population Commission is irrevocably committed to ensuring that everything about the 2023 census is done rightly and proportionally, saying that we have the clear vision, commitment, and capacity to deliver on this historic mandate. Having come thus far, Honorable Nasser Kwarra said that mere words are not enough for him to let Nigerians know just how far the commission has gone. And so he showcased a video documentary for all to see and appreciate, so that we can know that this exercise is not only deliverable, but also in reality just around the corner. Watch the video to the end.
It's no longer news that the 2023 census is scheduled to start March 29th this year, and it is the first digital census to be conducted in Nigeria. Some experts acknowledge no digital census this magnitude and peculiarity has taken place in Africa before now. Indeed, history is being made by this Issa Kwarra-led National Population Commission. Let's put you up to speed on the progress so far by the Commission to ensure a verifiable exercise. One of the first physical process that was carried out by the National Population Commission as a foundational block to the proposed 2023 census was the Enumeration Area Demarcation, EAD.
It is the division of the whole country into small areas that two enumerators can cover within the census period. What it means is that the whole country will be divided. Every part of this country will belong to one enumeration area or the other, whether it is inhabited or not. Without enumeration area demarcation, enumerators will not know where to start or where to stop their enumeration. So it's a guide for them. It will restrict them to their particular enumeration area for them to work. That way, we will not have any gaps, we will not have any overlap. That means we will not leave some people uncounted or count some people twice. And the enumeration area demarcation also helps us for logistics purposes. From there, we'll know the number of field staff we are going to take, the number of materials and all that.
Enumerators went to every nook and cranny of the country, counting all kinds of houses.
We're going to be counting all the houses in the local government and every local government. We're going to be taking notes of all the public buildings, schools, hospitals, health centers. We're going to be taking notes of roads that are tarred, roads that are not tarred. We're going to be taking notes of roads that are just walkways. We're going to be taking note of every building, whether it's completed or not completed, whether it's a shanty, whatever condition it is in.
Aware of the fact that there were various means to access the different parts of the country, the Commission was prepared to face this task. In some other areas, motorbikes were acquired to reach difficult terrains. When these houses are marked and demarcated within an enumeration area, the information is put in a device called the Personal Digital Assistant, PDA, which is given to every enumerator. The device sends the information to the enumerator's dashboard.
Progress of work done, what number of households are they supposed to cover, how many have they covered. It also goes ahead to tell you what is the average time of interviews in each of the states. It also shows to tell you that are they going to be able to complete the work in the number of days that is assigned for the job.
After this digital marking, the result is that all houses, structures, and more can now be identified through satellite imagery. Apart from the geo-referencing, there is more to the protective characteristics of the EAD. EAD is geo-fenced, which means that you cannot transfer the information from one demarcation area to another. The information is protected. How is this useful during census enumeration?
You cannot, for example, get a building that does not exist, because in the first place you are using imageries, downloaded imagery that reflect actual condition on the ground with coordinates marked out. So that is one measure of quality, that building, for example, where you want to enumerate a person must surely be on ground. It means that it exists. What matters now is the number of persons inside.
The enumeration area demarcation has been concluded in all 774 local government areas. After the EAD, the National Population Commission went ahead to conduct an EAD update, which was a further verification of the initial exercise. This was done in selected local government areas. Within this period of the EAD update, there were 2 census pretests to assess the validity of the records that had already been imputed in the census dashboard.
Now, to check the adequacy of this very first level of preparation, that is creation of enumeration area maps, we need to carry out a test, and this is why we conducted the first census pretest, and this was conducted in June 2021.
The next phase of the preparatory process to the April 2023 census was the trial census, which was conducted between July 11th and 30th, 2022. The trial census, which is a dress rehearsal of what the actual census would look like, also had as part of its activity the building numbering and household listing before the enumerators' interviews with respondents. One of the respondents for the trial census was President Muhammadu Buhari, who was so elated to receive the chairman of the National Population Commission, Nasir Issa Kwarra, and his team right there in his hometown in Daura, Katsina State. The commission is leaving no stone unturned to make sure that the 2023 exercise produces credible results that is acceptable to all. As part of moves to achieve a smooth communication flow during the exercise, the Commission launched a situation room which has a digital call center that will be active 24/7 during the actual census process. The situation room became active on May 18, 2022.
Every call that comes in is either attended to by the call center operators. If it is a call that will be referred to the chairman for response, it will be referred to the chairman in his office for him to respond.
All these processes make the exercise almost error-free and quality assured, as emphasized by the Director General of the Commission, Ojogun Telesin Osifo.
All those internal mechanisms are there to evaluate the system.
The monitoring and evaluation system is to check and make inputs, targets that have been set, the key performance indicators that will tell us where we are doing well, how well we are doing it, and when we are not doing it right. We do not want to disturb the interviewers when they are conducting interviews for them to be answering our questions, but we meet the supervisors, the coordinators, the field coordinators and the field supervisors, and those that are working in the field that are not conducting interviews. We ask them some questions, we have some interviews with them, and during the trainings usually, because the training is just immediately before the outing of the census. So within that period, we must have had a group, WhatsApp group that will be formed, so that whenever we send out the forms, it's online, they fill them, everything that is ongoing during the census, we have questions that are set for that. So we now give them out. Immediately they give us those answers, we now analyze it.
The commission, the way I see it today, with about 4 years of our involvement in these preparatory processes, is very ready now, good to go.
In the last 2 years, the chairman, Nasir Issa Kwarra, himself has led his team of management staff on advocacy visits to former heads of state, governors, traditional rulers, security operatives, and other stakeholders to convince them about the seriousness and commitment of the Commission to actualize a credible e-census. After seeing the preparatory work that has been done to have a successful exercise, these principals have fully endorsed the process, making the advocacy visits fruitful.
The census should lead on to demarcation of constituencies, which we have run away from since 2006.
And the most important, the population census provides statistical data for economic planning.
It is something that we place utmost priority, and we're giving all cooperation.
I want you to know you have a good, big job ahead of you. I pray you do it well, and I pray it's accepted by all.
Data, it's everything. Statistics is everything. If you don't have data, you can't plan.
On behalf of the FCT administration, I wish to assure you of maximum support. And this support will be provided along the lines that you've already enumerated. We'll provide publicity because it's very important.
What I would like to say to my people is that they should give their homies more cooperation, because it will help us.
We are all working to achieve the same objective.
This is a national call, so anytime you come calling, we are not worried and will provide necessary security and support for your job.
One of the leading partners of the preparatory activities to the upcoming national census in Nigeria is the UNFPA. This international body has supported the National Population Commission very strongly in training of its staff for the different phases of the exercise. Country representative of the UNFPA, Ula Mola, has also worked closely with Nasir Issa Kwarra on many of the initiatives of the Commission.
The census is long overdue, and it is time that we understand what does the population look like in Nigeria. So when we know that, that will be transformational, and it will be a key driver to deliver the Nigerian development plan.
Therefore, welcome you all, Your Excellencies.
Thursday, August 11, 2022 was very significant in the life of the Commission as it held its first National Stakeholders Conference and public presentation of the 2023 Census Strategic Document.
The importance this administration places on sustainable development.
The event was graced by His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, ministers, legislators, governors, traditional rulers, and members of religious faiths. The diplomatic community was also well represented and ably led by the United Nations Resident Coordinator in Nigeria, Matthias Shmale. Each representative had good and acceptable messages for the stakeholders, raising hopes of a potentially successful national population census exercise. President Muhammadu Buhari, while opening the summit, underscored the importance of a credible and digital census to Nigeria.
It has become imperative to convene this summit to promote a robust and informed national conversation on the processes and procedures for the 2023 census and to convince citizens on the need to submit themselves for enumeration purposes during the 2023 census.
The president, alongside other guests, later unveiled the 2023 census strategic document.
Unveiling of the Population and Census.
Road shows and sensitization programs have been held in all 36 states of the Federation. There is even a partnership with the National Orientation Agency on sensitization of Nigerians for this exercise. The Commission will need about 1 million core and ad hoc staff for the census exercise. Already, the e-recruitment process started November 2022. About 400 facilitators have already been engaged. These facilitators will train over 800,000 enumerators, supervisors, and other staff that will conduct the census exercise.
We have devised using 3 methodology for training. First, we have the self-learning methodology, then the virtual classroom training, and then the contact classroom training.
There's hardly any good month that passes without you talking about some level of recruitment and training. So internally, you realize that staff training has been taken very serious so that you get the best out of staff.
By self-learning, we mean that we provide materials on census methodology. We make them available to all that are qualified online. And they will go through the materials. There are evaluation tests there they take after each module that prepares them on their own for what is the content of the census. The next stage, for those that successfully go through that first stage, we invite them into a virtual classroom training. Then after the virtual classroom session, there also we have assessment which we also use to determine who is really fit to continue into the work of census taking. Now, those that again perform very well at that stage, we invite them to the contact training. And now we are seeing them one-on-one because even if you are very good online, your appearance too matters to us because you are going to train high-level people that will be coming to partake in the census project. And then we want them to now go through practical sessions.
The thousands in the workforce to be used for the census exercise will be trained in different zones of the country by these facilitators.
I've been here for exactly a year now, maybe a year, 1 month or 2 months. You'll be amazed at the speed at which things have moved. I am amazed myself.
One other unique feature of this census is its green feature. This will be a green census.
We are just greening the census processes and procedures to maintain a greener environment, achieve sustainable development goals, meet the Paris Agreement assigned by the president. So we looked at it and said, okay, let's green the census. Let's reduce emission. Yes, we've gone paperless. In the 2006 census, we were using large topo sheets. We were using a lot of papers, our manual, everything was not digitalized. Now functionaries register online. We do a lot of communications. The information will be stored in the cloud. We are getting somewhere. We are really achieving, and we want to do more. And that is the aspect of sensitization. We are going to engage up to 1 million functionaries. If you were to tell just one person and the other person tells another person, you end up having up to 5 million people sensitized on what is climate, what is the impact of man to the environment.
One of the biggest challenges that countries in Africa have with census implementation, particularly during this digital era, are 2 things. It's budget, because technology requires heavy investment, initial heavy investment. It's expensive. and then you have to build capacity to use it. That also takes money. And 2, it's acquisition of the right technology. You can't just go into the money. You have to do some homework and then figure out, look at your context and all those things and make sure that you are getting the most suitable technology for your context, for your country, for the price that you can afford. And these things take time. Okay? But these decisions have been made in Nigeria fairly quickly.
Many of the equipment needed for the exercise are already on ground, and the Commission is doing all it can to ensure others come in good time.
The PDAs, the Federal Executive Council, have approved the procurement of 480,000 PDAs, and arrangement is being made to get the extra numbers by the grace of God. So they will be in receipt of the first 100,000 of these PDAs that are coming, and others will come in subsequent things. So we're exploring all options to ensure that we have adequate PDAs for the exercise.
Many people have raised questions on some of the issues that may hinder a smooth census exercise. Some of these issues include the closeness of the time of the exercise to that of the elections and the heightened insecurity in the country.
Why do we even want to do the census this year at all, seeing that there's an election in the air? Truth is, we are passionate and committed to see that we conclude this session with this administration based on some historical background. We discovered that in time past, censuses were affected by transition in government. And that's why we want to ensure that this census is concluded under this administration, especially against the background of the amount of commitment that Mr. President has put into it. For him, the aim is to have a legacy, a working document for whichever government will come in, something to plan with.
Election is sensitive, no doubt about it. You know, you have people struggling for one position. But for census, the sensitivity is not as strong because everybody wants to be counted. And you see people who share different political persuasions coming together to ensure that they are counted. So in terms of healing, you know, some of the bitterness that will arise from the election, you need the census, because different political parties who belong to a community, they will need to collaborate, to cooperate.
We're not unmindful of the insecurity situation, but truth is, we've been in the field for quite some time now. We've been out there conducting the enumeration area demarcation. And each time we've gone out, we've been in the field at once for about 30 days, sometimes for more than 30 days. And we have successfully conducted this enumeration area demarcation in all the local governments of Nigeria. And if we have been able to stay in the field extensively for 30 days at a time, and we've been able to do this even in spite of the insecurity situation, we have a lot of assurance that we can now do the actual enumeration, which is just about 5 days.
Enumerators will come from the local environment. There are people who are very, very conversant, you know, with the environment. I mean, they can always navigate their way. So we are not going to move enumerators or even ad hoc workers from Sokoto to Calabar or from Ibadan to Maiduguri.
We do not necessarily transmit results for census. We transmit data. All that analysis will be done. But it moves on our enumerators move from house to house, canvassing for information from respondents, households, and the rest of them. And when you get all that, you go straight from your PDA and go straight to the server. And the server is configured in a manner that will aggregate and disaggregate the data that comes into it.
I want to assure Nigerians that the Commission is prepared to conduct a fully digital census for our dear country. And I want to seek their continuous support and cooperation to own the project submit themselves to be counted so that data that can be verifiable, that is credible, and that will be transformational will be provided to this country for the new administration after the elections can use for national planning.
The 2023 census is here. Let us embrace it. This is a definitive period for Nigeria, and no other can make it happen but us. No resident in Nigeria is too unimportant to be part of this exercise. No one is too young or too old. Everyone counts. You count. So be counted.
Thank you very much for following us on this edition. Please do well to click the subscribe button and also press the notification bell so you can follow our videos every Wednesday and every Sunday, God willing. And as I've said before, remember, census is just around the corner. Everybody counts and everybody must be counted. As I said, no stone shall be left behind.